What's good? It's the one, the only, but what do I know? Boxing coming back at y'all with another one, man. So I got a two-part video. I was asked two questions by one person in the inbox. They asked me, first and foremost, do I feel like Jermell Charlo was ducking Tim Tszyu? And the second part to his question was, how realistic is an undisputed fight between Jermell Charlo and Terence Crawford? And I'm gonna go ahead and say, the undisputed part, I don't know about that being realistic, but the chances of them fighting, I'll get to that in a second. So as far as, do I feel like Jermell Charlo was ducking Tim Tszyu? Well, I mean, bro, it's the thing I love most about, one of the things I love most about my channel is the fact that it's easy for me to answer all your questions because I stay consistent with everything that I say. Do I feel like Jermell Charlo was ducking Tim Tszyu? No, and here's why. In my opinion, in order for it to be a duck, right? First of all, yes, that the person has to be in your weight class, with an exception of like Triple G. When Triple G said, like Triple G or Jermell Charlo, right? When you do things like call somebody out at a different weight class, or call out say things like, I'll knock out anybody at 168, and then somebody at 168 challenges you and you don't, step up to that challenge, then that is a duck. Or like when Jermell said he would do something to, he would break David Benavidez's neck, and then David Benavidez was like, all right, well, let's make a fight, and then you want to say, but I fight at 160. No, that's a duck, because you should have never put his name in your mouth. That's an exception to my rule. But I will say this, yes, if anybody that's in your weight class, right, that's a legitimate opponent, right? So with that being said, it can't be a situation where somebody is ranked, somebody is a champion and somebody is ranked number 50 and they're calling them out, and the champion doesn't fight them, and that's not a duck. No, it has to be a legitimate opponent. If that legitimate opponent calls this person out, and this person chooses to fight less opposition or other oppositions, then I consider that a duck. And I'll give you an example. Canelo Alvarez and David Benavidez. David Benavidez is the top dog at 168 besides Canelo himself. Canelo has fought less opposition than David Benavidez. Everybody knew Jaime Maguire was not ready for Canelo Alvarez, all right? Everybody knew John Ryder was not ready. Those guys are less opposition than David Benavidez. So I guess I should clear it up. If it's an opponent calling a champion out or a fighter out, and that fighter chooses to fight less opposition than that opponent himself, then yes, that to me is a duck. So meaning, I can't say, okay, we all know Jermell Charlo and Tim Tszyu was supposed to fight, right? I can't say that Jermell Charlo ducked Tim Tszyu to fight Canelo Alvarez. Why? Because, bro, I'm gonna ask you guys a question. Who is the better fighter? Canelo Alvarez or Tim Tszyu? Canelo Alvarez, right? Who's the more accomplished fighter? Canelo Alvarez or Tim Tszyu? Canelo Alvarez, right? What's the more lucrative fight? Canelo Alvarez or Tim Tszyu? Canelo Alvarez, right? So you tell me, how is that a duck when Jermell Charlo not only moved up 2 weight classes but fought a better fighter than Tim Tszyu, a more accomplished fighter than Tim Tszyu, and a fighter that brings in more money than Tim Tszyu? With those three things being said, how could you say that Jermell Charlo ducked Tim Tszyu? No, he did not duck Tim Tszyu in my books. Now Canelo, not Canelo, but Charlo, if Charlo did not duck Tim Tszyu in my book, now if Charlo would have turned around and fought like Patrick Teixeira, then I would say, okay, yeah, that's a duck. Come on, bro. Like, why are you not fighting? Like, we want you to fight Tim Tszyu and you're fighting Patrick Teixeira. But no, he fought Canelo Alvarez, which made more financial sense and would have done more for his legacy. Him fighting Tim Tszyu at that time does nothing for his legacy, but him fighting Canelo, although he put up a dud performance, let me make that clear. I hate the performance he put up against Canelo, because he didn't even really try. It looked like he just came to survive. He still, fighting Canelo would have did more for his legacy, a lot more for his legacy financially, and just markability, all of that. He would have gained more fighting Canelo, a lot more than fighting Tim Tszyu. I'll put it like that. All right. So no, I don't think that's a dub. Now, as far as what's the possibility with Jermell Charlo versus Jermell Charlo and Terence Crawford, I predicted Jermell Charlo's well, I don't know, I could still be wrong, but after Jermell Charlo fought Canelo Alvarez and the way that he fought, I said, bro, Jermell Charlo will probably take a year. More than likely what's going to end up happening is we're not gonna hear from him for a long time, which, you know, the video's still up. He probably is probably gonna be about, it's gonna be over a year before he comes back. I stated this all in September of last year. It's gonna be over a year, probably 2 years, in between a year and 2 years before we see him. If he comes back to the ring, before we see him entering, it'll be over a year or two. And if he does come back, it probably won't be at 154. At this point, I just don't see the point of Jermell Charlo coming to 154. You've collected all the belts, you've made history, you were undisputed in that weight class. To me, what sense does it make for him to come back and fight at 154? You know what I'm saying? And that's if he can even make the weight. I'm not a fan of guys going up and down in weight. Just like how, you know, with David Benavidez, I'm not a fan of that. Like, guys, like, once you move up to a certain weight, because it's like, especially guys like David Benavidez and Jermell Charlo, who's fought at 154 his entire career, you move up to 168, you know, you fight Canelo Alvarez, but it's like, bro, like, moving down could be detrimental to you. Roy Jones is a prime example of that. Roy Jones moved up all the way to heavyweight, then came back down to 175 and ain't looked the same since. You know what I'm saying? And speaking of Roy Jones, make sure you keep him, his family in your prayers. His son just, you know, his son took his own life. That's sad, man. I hate to hear that. So please keep Roy Jones in your prayers. You know, God bless you and your family, champ. But this happened like a few days ago. But you know, it's detrimental to your career to be moving up and down in weight. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it's still possible. Guys like Floyd did it, but the thing about Floyd is Floyd walked around about 150 pounds. So with Floyd going up to 154 and then coming back down to 147, that wasn't detrimental to him because he walked around that weight. But you got guys that walk around. Jermell Charlo probably walk around about like 180. So you know, him moving up, you know, I'm gonna be honest, I'm not sure Jermell Charlo can make 154 in a safe capacity. So in my opinion, and then I'm gonna be honest with you, I think Terence Crawford might have even said this too. Off of the performance that he had with Canelo Alvarez, I just don't think that a fight with Jermell Charlo and Terence Crawford is really just intriguing at this point. I just don't, and I definitely don't see it being undisputed because, you know, Jermell relinquished all his belts. You got Terence Crawford fighting for the WBA. You got Sebastian Fundora, who is he was unified. I think he had, did he have the IBF and the WBC? No, he had the WBO and the WBC. One, he had two of those belts, but one of those belts, he's been stripped of, I believe. So, you know, and it's just all spread out. So I don't necessarily know how realistic it is for him to be able to fight at fight for an undisputed title at 154. I don't even know how realistic it is for him to fight at 154. If he comes back, he probably will come back at if he's not trying to fight at 160, he'll come back at a catchweight at like maybe 157. But I believe if he comes back, it'll probably be at 160. And I won't be surprised if we don't see that same dog in Jermell that we once saw. You know what I'm saying? Now, if they were to come back and fight as of right now, at one point I would have picked Jermell to win. If you would have asked me this 3 years ago, when they were going at it, or 2 years ago when they were going at it, 3 years ago. I would have picked Jermell, but now I think Terence Crawford probably would get Jermell, bro. At this point, I don't even know how much Jermell has left. But I mean, who knows? Terence Crawford is turning 37, or he just turned 37 or something like that. So I mean, who knows? Who knows how much Terence Crawford has left? But I don't know. I would be interested to see the fight, but I just don't know how realistically how possible it is for Jermell Charlo to make 154 in a safe way. All right, that's just my take on it, man. But anyways, let me know what you guys think. Let me know, do you think Jermell Charlo can make 154? Would you want to see him versus Terence Crawford? Like, comment, subscribe. But